Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, everybody knows Dickey's for great barbecue, but we'll be talking about their philanthropy and how they're helping first responders from coast to coast. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I got to confess, I am a Dickey's barbecue-aholic. Dickey's got me through COVID-19 because throughout the pandemic on Sundays, I would order my Uber Eats and loved my 3-meat combo special. But what I didn't know was how philanthropic Dickey's Barbecue is. To talk about that today, Betsy Orton, she is the executive director of the Dickey Foundation. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeff. I'm thrilled to be here and to talk about our work helping first responders.
Okay, so tell us how this started.
The Dickey Foundation started in 2016. If you'll remember, there was a terrible shooting in downtown Dallas where a number of police officers were injured and lost their lives. And Mrs. Maureen Dickey, who had been a Dallas County Commissioner for a number of years, saw this and said, this is unacceptable. This can't happen, because a number of those officers were not wearing proper protective gear or it was expired. And so this was really where the Dickey Foundation was born, because that we want to help first responders, whether it's protective gear and equipment like that, whether it's firefighting suits, things for EMS. So really that's where it was born back in 2016.
And you get to talk with first responders across the country. You were telling me just before we went on the air, you had a great conversation in Michigan.
I did. It's a really wonderful thing because the Dickey Foundation is a national foundation with an intensely local impact. The one I was mentioning was in Michigan, and I was talking to their fire chief there, and we were talking about what they might need. And he said in their little township of Commerce Township, Michigan, they have over 50 bodies of water. And what they really needed was equipment so they could safely do ice and water rescues. So not only is that something that we can help, that's going to help the local community members, but it's also going to be helping those volunteer firefighters and firefighters, because that way they can safely rescue. So those ropes aren't being weighed down with water. These are designed to be doing that. So we're excited that we can really have a very local impact in those places where we have our stores.
I got it. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think you have the coolest job at Dickey's, don't you?
I'm very lucky. I have a fantastic job at Dickey's. I love it. I've been there for about 1.5 years. The idea that we get to get up and help people on a regular basis, on a daily basis, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah. And you and I met through the Dallas Business Journal. You guys were just honored with a big award. We're going to put it on the screen. Outstanding Directors Award. Tell us what that was like.
I was so thrilled to be honored by the Dallas Business Journal with their Outstanding Directors Award. But more importantly, I was thrilled to get to see that the Dickey Foundation was getting recognized for the work that we're doing. Like I said, we are doing grants all across the country. Just a few weeks ago, I was in Ennis. We did helmets and shields for them. I'm actually working on a grant for Rowlett for their new SWAT gear. So it's really a great opportunity to get to work on a lot of different projects to help a lot of different first responders.
And I was really impressed with your interview with the Dallas Business Journal. Let's go ahead and roll that clip now.
The Dickey Foundation is the charitable arm for Dickey's Barbecue Pit, and the mission of the Dickey Foundation is to support first responders. So we're supporting our law enforcement, our firefighters. During COVID, we've been also supporting our healthcare heroes, so really getting a chance to help those folks who are so very essential. So when the Dickey Foundation makes grants to first responders, what that means is that we'll actually reach out to those first responder agencies to partner with them and see what their needs are. Taking the executive director role in January of 2020 was remarkable. I went through a lot of change between taking on the new responsibilities of the job, creating a new plan for the organization, what we were going to do, having to toss that plan out completely because of COVID, and then really kind of getting a chance to pivot as an organization and working on new plans and how we would better engage. And so we saw a lot of change that happened with the foundation. And it also gave me an opportunity to better engage with our owners and Dickey's Barbecue as a whole. While we are a national organization and Dickey's Barbecue Pit is a national company, even international company, for us, what we want to do is be able to help in those local communities. We know that so many of our stores are owned by individual owner-operators who are in their communities. And for us, we want to come back to those communities and give those donor dollars where they make the most difference in those local communities.
How are you building and recruiting a more diverse board?
In 2020, we grew our board from 3 Dickey family members to incorporate more members from the community. So our board has now grown to 10 board members. We have representatives from Dallas Police Department. We have representatives from Dallas County Sheriffs. We also have community members. So for us, it's important that we've got a diversity of opinions, a diversity of race, as well as making sure that those folks really do have a passion for helping first responders.
Wow, Betsy, so impressed. I want you to talk about your bottled water campaign.
Yes. So right now, we actually just rolled out new branded bottled water, and every single bottle helps local first responders. In addition to the bottled water, every time you go into Dickey's and get anything to drink there, particularly in our big yellow cups, this year is our 80th anniversary. Every time you purchase a big yellow cup, regardless of what color it happens to be, because we're changing the color 6 times this year. So regardless of which cup you purchase, it actually helps first responders locally. So we're really excited. It's a great opportunity to do that. Last year, we did our very first benefit cup, raised over $150,000 doing that. And so it's a wonderful thing that our guests are able to help support first responders by purchasing those drinks.
I think that's wonderful. And a lot of people living in Dallas-Fort Worth, we've known Dickey's forever. I think they would be surprised to learn how big you guys have grown.
We have. We were started in 1941, and the original store is still that one over there at Henderson and 75. We've grown a lot in 80 years, and right now we have almost 600 stores across the country, actually around the world. We've got stores in UAE. We just opened in Tokyo, working on some in South America and South Pacific as well.
That's amazing. And the family is still so active.
Absolutely. We are still very, very much a family business. The family is on the board. The family runs the business on a daily basis. They are invested in their owner's success.
And so for the first responders who are watching this right now, is there a process? Do they apply? What happens?
Certainly, they can visit thedickeyfoundation.org where they can find our grant application. My number and my email are on there. They're welcome to reach out to me. Would love to talk to them about that. They can also reach out to our local owner operators because they can also certainly point them in the direction of the Dickey Foundation so we can help them.
Betsy, you've been amazing. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're going to put up the website so everybody can get in touch. Thedickeyfoundation.org is the website. Betsy, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.